Senator Tommy Tuberville has long made fun of President Joe Biden for having falling accidents. That happens to elderly people as well as to people who are clumsy. They fall. It's not fun. Now, in July, for example, he told reporters that he expects Biden to fall every time that he appears in public. Quote, "You watch Joe Biden in Europe. I mean, I'm afraid he's going to fall down every time I turn on the television." Now, of course, there's some irony here, or some karma, in the fact that we find out that, oh, it looks like it's happened to him. Take a look. That footage immediately began to circulate online with people, well, calling him things like Tommy Tumbleville, which is funny. In fact, some of the responses here to the video, which, by the way, is fairly old, nonetheless, that actually makes it worse for Tommy, because him having fallen off, while exiting a plane, kind of the same thing that he was mocking Joe Biden for. But it was before Biden fell off. Anyway, here's one person writing, "Old people fall all the time. Here's 60-year-old Tommy Tuberville falling down from some stairs in 2014 before losing to UVA in, wait for it, the Military Bowl." Of course, that's in response to Tuberville basically blocking promotions for military members because he's against, women in the military having reproductive choice. Yeah. So, military families being able to, choose to have abortions. All right. So, there's more. Another said, "I will not apologize for enjoying watching Tommy Tuberville exit a plane on his ass. Seems quite fitting after all the trouble he causes." True. Another person, this is actually pro-democracy group Resolute Square, says, "Normally we wouldn't poke fun, but since Tommy Tuberville is a traitor who is weakening our military readiness and otherwise is a soulless human being, watching karma in real time gives us some joy." Well, you take whatever joy you can these days. Another says, "An angel gets his wings every time Tommy takes a tumble." Tommy Tuberville might have flown coach, but his tumble was first class. Good one. As I said, it's an old video, but it just makes me think of the old saying about, stones and glass houses. Now you shouldn't throw those stones. You live in a glass house. Look, I get it. Joe Biden he's an elderly person. Yeah, wow. So is most of Congress, including Tommy Tuberville. So it's not clever. It's not funny. It's not interesting. It's not like he's old, so he falls down. Oh, no. Okay. It's actually ableist when you think about it. Yes, there's ageism, there's ableism, etc. Look, when you conflate the occasional slip and fall, or just being old, with an inability to govern, well, then you're saying that anybody who might have balance issues or physical disabilities involving walking is not able to govern either, and those things are not related. Okay? Look, I have my own issues with the gerontocracy, but the reason is because you have people that have been in power and disconnected from average working class people that don't experience the economy as it is, or as it's been since I had been in the workforce as a millennial. Okay, I'm going to grow up with that. People have been in power 30, 40, 50 years and haven't experienced the things that we've experienced. That's the issue with the gerontocracy. Okay, and of course there's the issues where you had the late Senator Dianne Feinstein, who was essentially, yes, she had major cognitive issues where she didn't remember where she was, who she was talking to in these very important meetings. That, I think, is abuse. That was elder abuse. And again, she just recently had passed away. So from these issues, that's the problem with the gerontocracy. That wasn't her fault. I think it was the fault of her staffers that were trying to continue to parade her out so that they can keep their own power, which is why I kind of call this a great example of elder abuse. So evidence that that's what's happening with Joe Biden. Again, even though he is an elderly gentleman, so is Donald Trump. Neither of them have that kind of handler. They have different kinds of handlers, political advisors, aides, etc., but not, quite the type of handler that I think some people talk about when they talk about Biden. And so I just wanted to make that point. Look, yes, older people can govern. FDR, look, not only that, but disabled people also can govern. FDR was in a wheelchair. He created the New Deal. Did a ton to help the American people. There are black marks on his record as well. Well, let's be fair about it. None of that has to do with him being disabled. And again, other presidents that were elderly in office did good things. And so it just really shows you that you, instead of looking at things like age or physical disability, you should really look at what they stand for and what they do. And again, we're talking about age and physical disability. What we're not talking about are situations where you have like Ronald Reagan that had, I believe it was Alzheimer's or dementia, while in office, or again, Dianne Feinstein with her, cognitive issues while being in office. Completely separate situation. In that situation, you really can't effectively govern, and you shouldn't be in those positions. But when it comes to physical, falling down the stairs, or forgetting a couple of lines, or flubbing a couple of lines, that's not an example of not being able to govern and not having the cognitive ability to make decisions. It just means, that sometimes you flub your lines. Sometimes you have a difficulty reading. Sometimes, you can't really, say the things that you meant to say, or you get a little tripped up. You're having an off day, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to see, I guess, the ableism and ageism kind of toned down a little bit. But when you're asking, these right-wing politicians to do that, well, I mean, we already know their answer. They're never going to stop doing that because that's just their thing. Ironically, Fox News is one of the biggest purveyors of this when their average age of their audience is 70 plus. So great job with the ageism guys, nailing it. But it just shows you again how callous they are. Look, if you have disagreements with Joe Biden, which I certainly do, okay, well, tell us why. Tell us where he is wrong on the policy, where you disagree, and what you would do in their place. But don't go after somebody for something that can, and probably has, already happened to you. Like in the case of Tommy Tuberville. Be a decent person for once.